All right. I hope this is the image going. Yep. Yeah. Okay, everything's going. All right. Let me just send this link out a little bit, and we'll get started. First, I wanted to mention though is I started doing this. My sister walked in here asking me to sharpen a pencil. First thing when I started, first thing that happened was my sister came here and asked me to sharpen a pencil. And I told her beforehand, like, don't come in here. I'm going to be doing this, so don't come in here unless it's really important. But then again, I guess when you're her age, my sister's young, so I guess when you're her age, everything just seems like it's that important. Like, oh my gosh, this is like everything's that important. Like everything's the end of the world when you're a little kid. Yeah, I guess, and it took me a little bit to realize, like, yeah, I was like that at one point too. So I was thinking about changing my rebranding, changing my name from No More Cheese Dip to a once again the no more the Ayatollah Diet Cola thing or something like that, like Ayatollah Zero Cola or Ayatollah Cola Zero or something like that, something Ayatollah Diet Cola Ayatollah Cola 10 in reference to like the Dr Pepper brand did the 10 version so long a little while ago. And 10 years ago, close to at this point, and I remember they had the Dr. Pepper 10 is not for women campaign. Anybody remember the 10 versions of sodas? And okay, just give me a second now. No more cheese dip. 93 videos. Are we serious here? I almost had 100. I swear, guys, my 100th video has got to be special. If I don't even realize what it is by the time it's uploaded, it's gonna be like, what? I'm gonna be thinking like, what the heck is wrong with me here? Ugh. Does anybody else just remember that when Dr. Pepper Company was doing the 10 versions of sodas, they marketed it as like Dr. Pepper 10, it's not for women. And the commercial, the guy going, woof, 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 like jumping around, and he gets in the van. Dr. Pepper 10. I miss the days of those Dr. Pepper 10 commercials. Average watch time is 5 seconds. Okay. Oh, and then those were the days. And I remember back in sometime in 2015, my mom and her second husband were split up, and during some time, like we were at like our most poor around this time. I mean, we're still poor, but not as poor now. And we were and like my dad came up to my dad came up to spend some time with us, and he bought us some groceries individually, and just be nice. And he bought my brother got some RC Cola 10 because I didn't even know they made that. And I'm an RC Cola, and I have been since about 2011 when Dr Pepper did roll out Dr Pepper 10. And yeah, they had like a whole shelf like the 10-calorie versions of the Dr Pepper products, which had like 1 or 2 grams of sugar and 10 calories and everything. I guess the point of it was for like the people who want that extra bit of sweetness, but who don't like the sugary versions, but don't want that, but like that extra bit of sweetness in their diet version. And like you drank a can of Dr Pepper 10, which we did used to buy in place of Diet Dr. My family, which used to always buy Diet Dr Pepper, did buy in place of Diet Dr Pepper at one point. In fact, I still remember drinking those Diet Dr Peppers with Black Widow on them when they were doing the Avengers Dr Pepper campaign in 2010 and 11. And Anyways, my brother got the RC Cola 10, and then my mom's like, RC Cola 10? Why don't I try some? So she tried some, like, this is good. And she ended up drinking like half the bottle, and we almost considered like telling her second ex-husband that hey, we're gonna hey, do you mind? And he at the time he was buying some groceries for Mary, my sister, and my mom joked like, "Hey, do you mind buying some RC Cola 10? I drank all my sons." My middle brother Alex was okay with it though. He's a really ride the storm kind of guy. He's not very he doesn't like conflict much, especially now, which I find a little hard to believe because back when we were like back when he was around 12, 13, and I was like 7 and 8, we would just be at each other's throats. I mean, like, man, he always told me, even to this day, though, him and my oldest brother still make fun of me for being weak. My brother always talking about, like, man, you were 7 and 8. I tried all these wrestling moves on you, and you just screaming like, oh God, oh God, oh God. I'm like, dude, I haven't even done anything yet. Yeah, I guess I'm just a naturally weak guy. I probably should exercise at some point. I was working with my grandpa, and he had me get this metal bar thing, which ended up being really useful in the end. When we were chopping away at dirt with pickaxes, he had me get this metal bar thing with a weird end. It wasn't like broken or anything. It was like that on purpose. Like it was built that way on purpose. It was so heavy, I had a hard time grabbing it, and I couldn't get out there. And grab it. Goes, just leave it, damn it! And I'm like, no, I got this. Yeah. You and your brothers need to take you to the gym. I'm like, they did a few times. They almost considered like getting me to like do this experiment where I'm on like a strict diet and I'm exercising, doing high intensity training and all this. And that sounded like a cool idea. I would have been totally down for that, but they ended up not doing it. Don't know why. It's really just something. Excuse the intrusion. My sister just came in here and handed me a piece of paper that said Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and put her name here. And I'm surprised. Like this is the first time like up close I've really seen how her handwriting has progressed. She's in like the first grade if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm almost positive it's first grade. Man, her handwriting is way better than mine was at that age. I mean, look at this. I can legibly. You can't all look at this. I'm reading this right now. I'm just legibly seeing this. And it has her name there. And man, she's writing it good. She's got the casing right and everything. Oh, she's still using capital E's and A's at times, but she's still using a little bit of mixed casing. I use mixed casing on too. People always dump on my handwriting, and yeah, my handwriting is even my friends use this as like a notorious. Some of my friends, like even when I went to the summer camp, Luther Home, I used my handwriting as like saw me writing my story in my little binder of paper, and they go, "Whoa, dude, look at Eric's handwriting." And they said it was like some sort of secret. It could be like some sort of secret code. Yeah. But then we were playing this game called Awkward Family Photos, based on the old website Awkward Family Photos. I don't know if that website's still. Actually, let me look. When I went to look up Roger Dean photos, a photo of like an underwear ad showed up, and like related. And I'm like, what? If you're wondering, no, I don't look up I don't look up women's underwear advertisements. I'm not a woman. I don't wear women's underwear. Awkward Family Photos. Oh, yeah, the website's still up. Laser denim mullets. Stop. Parking lot communion. Boy. Oh, some of these are hilarious. Okay, well. Anyways, we're playing that. And, the goal of the game is basically they give you a caption and they give you a photo and you have to caption it. And so one time, and so we were doing this. My mom used to always never be able to read my thing, so she'd have me whisper it in her ear, and she would always know which one. And you had to kind of get, and you'd have to basically once you write your caption, you have to give it to like a person who's going to read them all, and then that person is going to and then you have to guess who wrote each one after you'd say which one you thought was the funniest. And people would always know which one was mine because my mom would make a house rule where I couldn't write mine. I'd have to whisper it. And so I couldn't write anything funny because everybody else was writing these really dirty captions that were hilarious. And mine could, and my mom wouldn't let me say anything dirty at the time. So I couldn't write any funny captions, and so I'd always lose. And then like one of she was having a bet, she confused what was mine for what was my brother Alex's because she just thought. Because she had a hard time reading it, and then I was like, "Oh," and like, "What does it say?" And I'm like, "That's not mine." Like, what? And she was like, "Is this yours?" And goes, "Yeah." Like, wow, I'm having an easier time reading Eric's than I am reading yours. Like, I'll take any opportunity to give myself a win over my brothers because I can't get those. I can't just really get those. Oh yeah. The whole thing. This got derailed fast. So, anyways, I was saying like I decided not to rebrand because one of my favorite YouTubers, Almost Human, got hospitalized for a finger infection, which was made even worse by a spider bite he had. He's all better now, but this was like about a month ago, maybe this happened. And I told him like I gave him some get well soon stuff, and then he says you, and then I started talking about King Diamond because he's a big King Diamond fan and I'm a big King Diamond fan. And then he says no more cheese dip. That should be on no more cheese dip. That's hilarious. My viewers have the coolest names. And then someone commented like no more cheese dip should be on a shirt. And he's like it should be on a shirt. And like started telling me to market it, and like he started telling me to market no more cheese dip and get it on shirt. You can make T-shirts and everything, and I really got to take advantage of a no more cheese dip brand. And so that's not the main reason why I decided to not revert the name change, but that inspired me to. The name change thing I didn't have my heart set on. I was something I was thinking, but I've decided like that was just like you know what just keep it like this. I'm not going to do like a no more cheese dip brand at this point. I'm not going at least not until I get more famous. But it's gonna happen. Something like it's gonna happen. Just Halford. Listening to album by this metal band Halford earlier. Pretty good. I think it was just called Halford. Reminds me, I want to talk about so I made a year-end list for I've listened to about I don't know 22 or something albums that came out this year, and I made a year-end list, not a year-end list, but a list of all the albums I've listened to this year. There's only one more release I'm anticipating this year, and I don't think it's going to make the top 10 on my list. That's Turning to Crime by Deep Purple. That's coming out this weekend, I think. Last year I listened to Whoosh by Deep Purple. That album was just incredible. I don't know if that was my favorite album of last year, but that's one of. Then again, I wasn't really following all the releases last year, and there just wasn't too many music releases last year because of the pandemic. But Whoosh by Deep Purple was just a great album. I mean, like that was probably the best album of their comeback period they've started a few years ago. Okay, I got my list of my 21 albums so far. Yeah. So my favorite albums of 2020, it's all the albums that came out in 2021 that I've listened to, ranked worst to best, are by The Circle. Oh, real quick, I want to mention the reason why I don't think Elements of Crime, no, it's okay. Machine if you maintain smooth stream as usual experience buffering. It says here it's at running at a stable KBS in my KBS in my I'm getting into like actual important topics here. Would it be one of these streams if I didn't have Wi-Fi problems? I have like the crappiest Wi-Fi in the entire house. Error, no data, error. Man, it's been going on for the past 2 minutes. That was one person tuned in, and it was just for 5 seconds. Lovely. That was just lovely. When did this person stop? In 9:02. Huh. So I can tell you when this one person stopped him. Oh, excellent connection. Okay, anyways, I don't think Elements of Crime. No, it's going to be called Turning to Crime. Elements of Crime is a Japanese bootleg record label. No. Turning to Crime is, I don't think it's going to be in the top, make my top 10 because it's a covers album. And it looks like they're going to be covering some cool songs, but it's just, I don't know. A covers album doesn't interest me as much as an album of original material. Hence why I'm the kind of dude to prefer the Def Leppard album X to the Def Leppard album Yeah. Anyways, though, my list of albums I listened to this year rank are Lockdown 2020. Same reason, the solo, because it's just these are just performances the band did over Lockdown in 2020 to kind of like on a monthly basis. With one new song they did, with the weirdly enough, it's missing the Lockdown performance they did of Santa's Going South for Christmas, which was they did during December of 2020. They're missing that, but they instead put a cover of Heroes on there, and that's a really good cover. The Circle's a great band. Sammy Hagar, Mike on vocals, Michael Anthony on bass, Jason Bonham on drums, and Vic Johnson on guitar. Jason Bonham, son of John Bonham, the Zeppelin drummer. Yeah. But again, it's so low on the list because only one original song here, "Funky Feng Shui," which is just okay, and the rest of the covers are, and the covers themselves, aside from like the cover of Heroes, aren't anything special. Like I don't like the way Vic Johnson did the riff on a cover of my personal favorite Van Hagar song. Don't tell me what Love Can Do. The album though, not bad. I mean, like nothing. I didn't hate. The reason why this list is only 21 albums, despite the fact that lots of albums came out this year, is because I don't want to listen to something I probably won't like or I don't think I will like. I'm gonna listen to something. I'm gonna listen to something either someone recommended me or something. I'm gonna approach it or something someone made me listen to or something I wanted to listen to. I'm not gonna listen to anything. I'm just thinking, I'm not gonna like this. I'm not going to do that. Anyways, Lockdown 2020, which I think was the earliest release on this list here. It's at bottom number 21. Number 20 is Afterlife by Sunstorm. Sunstorm is a project featuring one of my all-time favorite vocalists. One of my all-time favorite vocalists, Joe Lynn Turner. Or at least it was. All the band members. It was a product from him and the members of a band called Pink Cream 69. And this keyboardist. The keyboardist left, and all the Pink Cream 69 guys left, so it was just Joe Lynn Turner. And this new keyboardist, Alessandro Vallaccio. And the band was put together by Frontiers Records as like a studio project. And then they had contacted Joe Lynn Turner about doing another one, and Joe didn't respond back. They didn't hear back from Joe, and so Joel and Turner decided that so we don't know what Joe and Turner's thoughts on this is, but they elected to get Ronnie up in it, but they elected to get like this really hot in the business right now, this really famous classic rock newcomer, Ronnie Romero. They decided into the band to try and keep on Sunstorm, because Sunstorm's built a reputation and everything. And this was a controversial opinion and a controversial thing to do, because a lot of people were thinking the only important member from any previous lineups in this was Alessandro Villaccio. Like, Ronnie Romero's a great vocalist, but you shouldn't even be calling this Sunstorm at this point. And that's not why it's so low. The album is just, without Joe and Turner's songwriting, I really feel like a part of what it's not about just Joe and Turner being there. He wrote like he wrote like every song on the Sunstorm albums, or at least co-wrote. And so now it's kind of just like, well, why? Why is this even? This isn't even Sunstorm anymore. Like, they tried to make it sound like Sunstorm, but it doesn't carry the same spirit. It doesn't have the spirit inside. For any of you for all 0 of you Sunstorm diehard fans out there like me, that's a reference to their second album, which might be their best one. Okay, number 19 is Senjutsu by Iron Maiden. I really liked this album when I first heard it, and then it just kind of depreciated over repeated listenings. They recorded this in 2019, and then just randomly in 2020 while the band was around. In early 2021, Bruce Dickinson, the vocalist, went to bassist and band leader Steve Harris, like, hey, do you have a copy of that album we recorded in 2019? And Steve Harris was like, oh, yeah. Now, there's many are hailing this as like a comeback for Iron Maiden, but I acknowledge that Iron Maiden will never be as good as they were in the 80s. But this is a mixed bag for me. The opening track, Senjutsu, is the best song on here. Stratego is good, but I feel like it chugs a little too much. It's a little slow and it chugs a little too much. The writing on the wall, this song is just, I don't know, I'm mixed on it. Like, on the one hand, like, the first experience listening to this, I was doing yard work for my grandpa, and I was just kind of suffering through the entire experience. And so I was listening to the writing. So I listened to the entire album, like this is the day the album came out, by the way. I'm listening to the album, and I'm just there hacking away with an axe at sticks and cutting them up with loppers after we had just torn this tree down last week, taken this tree down last week. And so I'm just chopping up, and all the while I'm hearing, can't you see the writing on the wall? And I'm just, I don't know, maybe that just combined with me suffering out there in the hot sun and like a blistering hot Oklahoma September day really did it for me. Lost in a Lost World, I can't decide whether or not I like or dislike that track. I'm always like, oh, Lost in a Lost World. But then, it's always way longer than it should be. Days of Future Past, best song on here aside from the title track. Really great, short, concise piece. Doesn't overstay its welcome. And, it's not like crazy fast like I want. I'd love to hear just a fast modern Maiden song. And I have not heard anything like that since The Alchemist. I mean, Senjutsu is just... Lost in the Lost, Days of Future Past, and then this 4-minute track after Lost in the Lost were pretty good. Best song on your side from that. I wish it were faster, but a little faster, like kind of the same with Stratego, but this song is actually still really good. Time Machine, this one's kind of, so many acoustic intros on here. I'm saying you made this a double album, in reality, if you chop down the acoustic intros, only one of which I think really makes the song it's attached to better. I'm thinking, why even make it a double album in the first place? Darkest Hour and Death of the Celts. Darkest Hour, I'm not too huge a fan of. Death of the Celts has some interesting bits. The Parchment makes good use of its acoustic intro, and Hell on Earth. I'm kind of mixed on it. It's okay. It's okay. It's a solid overall album. Like, I don't know. I'd give it a 3 out of 5 stars, maybe. Can't live up to the standards of Classic Maiden. Not. It doesn't hold a. This doesn't hold a candle to Classic Maiden. It doesn't even hold a "Can I Play with Madness" candle you can buy off the band's official website. It's just no. It's just okay. It's a 6 out of 10. It's good, but it's not Iron Maiden good. I mostly just listen to it so I can say, hey, have you heard the new Maiden album? Or, hey, I'm listening to the new Maiden album, because some people, and I'm usually mad with Iron Maiden is still around. And number 18, Skygazer by Resurrection Kings. It's a band made up of Craig Goldie of Dio, Vinny Appice of Dio and Black Sabbath, Chas West, vocalist for Bonham, which was Jason Bonham's solo band, and Sean McNabb, bassist for Rough Cut and late 80s Quiet Riot before the breakup. Skygazer is pretty good. Not as good as the debut album by Resurrection Kings, but it's it's one of those. It's again one of those Frontiers Records studio bands they keep putting together, and it was pretty good. The second album was pretty good. Not as good as the first, but I enjoyed it overall. Chas West kind of sounds like a mix of Bruce Dickinson and Dio in kind of the wrong ways, and I love him, and I love his voice for that. Yes, The Quest. I really liked this album, and you know what? I think I put this a little too low. In some ways, a lot of people love, like, oh wow, this album's so great. When you compare it to the previous album, and it's so just when you don't compare it to that album. And I don't think that's completely fair. I actually really liked this album. But I'm gonna admit here, I'm a big defender. Once I got over like the fact that how much I hate John Davison and Yes, I ended up kind of enjoying it. It's just kind of, it's just they try so hard to sound like Yes that it's quintessential Yes in the worst possible ways. And this album just kind of it takes the band in a bit of a new direction, kind of. But I'm not a huge fan of it. No, and this was released by what was it, like Inside Out Music, I believe. And you know what? I kind of wish the band stayed with Frontiers, because the Ice Bridge had some decent bits here. Dare to Know, Minus the Man is all right. Leave Well Alone is good. Mystery to the what was it? Mystery Tour was a nice tribute to the Beatles. I really like Sister Sleeping Soul and A Living Island. Music from My Years and Future Memories were all right, Dare to Know is okay, but the album I just didn't. I don't know. I haven't. I won't. I don't think I'll revisit. Oh God, I'm gonna dedicate one episode of these to Roger Dean's painting he did here. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. If you really wonder why I haven't gone into detail about this painting, here he did. It's because it was for a Yes live album. I really like the painting, but it's just, I don't know. This episode's less Roger Dean focused, I guess. So, Hulu's just starting on. I hope it doesn't autoplay Everybody Hates Chris right while I'm doing this. That'd be a little embarrassing. Okay, so yeah, The Quest. I don't know. I liked it a lot. Maybe I'll put it a little higher, but nah. As it stands, the album was okay. It was just okay. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'd also give it a 6 out of 10, 3 out of 5. For 16, Limp Bizkit still sucks. I don't really like Limp Bizkit. They're a bit of a, though I will admit some of the stuff's a bit of a guilty pleasure to me. I'm not a big fan of a $3 bill, y'all, or chocolate starfish. I think results may vary. But I thought Unquestionable Truth had some good bits to it, and Gold Cobra wasn't bad. I Significant Other was okay, but still sucks. Man, I really think Chocolate Starfish is overrated. Anyways, though, Still Sucks, I thought was their best. I think it might be their best album that I've heard of. Well, I don't know best album, but it's become my favorite album of theirs, anyways. And like Wes Borland's guitar playing is great. Some cool riffs on here. I really liked Out of Style, Turn It Up, B Word, Dad Vibes. It was fun. I really liked Goodbye. That's one of my favorite songs on here. Snag was alright. Love the Hate was funny. You Bring Out the Worst in Me was also one I particularly liked. According to Rate Your Music, Dad Vibes and Out of Style are the highest rated songs by fans off this album. Yeah, there's nothing much to say. It was just the album was fine. I don't know, 6, 7 out of 10 maybe. Mammoth WVH is a 7 out of 10. It's the debut band. It's number 15, and it's on my list. It's debut by Wolfgang Van Halen. It's Distance was a very gut-wrenching tribute to his father, Eddie Van Halen. Really good. There's also some real good stuff here. Circles, You're to Blame, Stone, Don't Back Down. Horribly Right was pretty good. It was really good. Mr. Ed too, really good. This really shows like inspiration from like some of the modern butt rock band. I can tell inspiration from some of the modern alt rock and butt rock bands, but this is actually just really good hard rock and alternative stuff rock. It's just not much to say about it. Wolfgang performing the entire thing himself, and dude's wicked talented. He is in some of his guitar solos. He does prove to you he is in fact a Van Halen. Arc of Life. This was a debut. This is the debut album by a new supergroup. This signed to Frontiers Records, and this is not like one of those Frontier Records assembled studio groups. This was one that just got signed to them. This is a band that existed before, just signed to them. This is Arc of Life is trying to be like a more AOR themed version of Yes. For band members, we have John Davison, currently of Yes, on vocals. Jimmy Juan on guitar, not really known for much of anything here. David Kersner of Sound of Contact and Mantra Vega on keyboards. Jay Shellen, formerly of Asia during the last year. John Payne was in the band. Currently the support drummer for Yes when playing the more intense parts that Alan White is just too old to play. Billy Sherwood on bass and also co-lead vocals. And band's been compared to Yes quite a bit, which kind of makes it angers, which has really angered Billy Sherwood that it's been compared to Yes so much. Billy Sherwood replaced classic Yes bassist Chris Squire in 2015 upon his death, and Asia bassist and vocalist John Wetton in 2017 upon his death. So, this guy's got a lot on his plate. Arc of Life, Yes. Asia. And is he still in World Trade or... No, World Trade that's right. World Trade did a reunion. So his old band, World Trade, is still together. This dude's got a lot of... Billy Sherwood's got a lot on his plate. He's a real trooper. Anyways, Arc of Life, more AOR-centric version of Yes, which Yes has been teetering on for some time. And you know what? I actually kind of dug this. This is like... I'm not comparing this... I don't want to compare this to Yes too much, because that's exactly what Billy doesn't want you to do. And the album's just pretty good. I was doing this... While I was listening to it, I was doing this Shrine Quest in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where you're in these woods that are completely dark, and you gotta light torches, and you gotta light torches there, and everything's just pitch black, and you gotta find the shrine in there, and you gotta light torches to light like the small area around them while there's lots of monsters in there. It's really cool. One of my favorite Shrine Quest, Breath of the Wild, and I just have good memories of doing that, and I associate that with this album because I listened to this album for the first time while doing that. There's some weird oddball stuff in here. I'm still don't know what to think of, like Talking with Siri. There's some really good stuff here, like "You Make It Real," which I think is the main song, which was the lead single. Weird because that's the one song that has like one of the only songs to have Billy Sherwood doing lead. Magic and All is good. Locked Down and I Want to Know You Better really good. Therefore We Are in the End Game were fun. Until Further Notice was. There's some good stuff on here. Maybe I'll rank this one a little higher. Then let's just listen to this one last night. Number 13, Game Over by UDO. It's pretty good. It's a bit of a return to Udo's hard rock kind of roots after after a bunch of overproduced kind of mediocrity. I mean, like, Udo's weird because after breaking off from Accept, he had a solo band, UDO. He reunited with Accept in '92 and broke up UDO, and then in '96 he got UDO back together after Accept broke up and was offered a chance in Accept again, but declined because he didn't want to break up UDO and have to find new players and everything. And Accept drummer Stefan Kaufman was playing guitar in the group. Was the group's rhythm guitarist and since '97 and since '96 '97 and after a really awesome album with Rev Raptor in 2011, Stefan left, and that's a shame because Udo had a big hit in his native Germany and other European territories called "I Give as Good as I Get," and it seemed like he was primed to make like a mainstream comeback. But no, Stefan leaving kind of ensured that like the next two albums, Steelhammer and Decadent, would just be kind of really overproduced and kind of just real, especially Decadent, which is an obvious just. The album itself is just an obvious attempt at trying to make like big political messages that really has no room to be making. A collaboration with the German military orchestra, Das Musikkorps der Buschwinter last year. Steel Factory in 2018 was pretty good. Again, helped reiterate a comeback with another big hit in the European territories, One Heart, One Soul. It's weird, a guy who's like in his mid to late 70s right now is still making hit songs in his home country. And just Game Over. And Game Over doesn't have like a big powerhouse melodic slow track / ballad to really kind of hit like Steel Factory did, but it's pretty good. Like there's some really hard rock. This is a really hard rocking album. I mean, uh-oh. No, my software isn't effing up. I'm getting good internet. Come on, what's going on here? What's going on here? Okay. Okay, well, anyways, let's try and see about going on like that. Nothing's different. Some good stuff on here. Like I really like Prophecy, Empty Eyes, Prophecy, I See Red, Marching Tank, Thunder Road. Some real hard rocking stuff, and some slower tracks too that are fine. But really, this is I think that I don't know if I like this better than Steel Factory, which was a bit of a comeback album for him in terms of success, but I think in terms of like overall success and sales and whatnot, but Game Over was really good. You know, I didn't know much of what to expect, but I really enjoyed it. You know, I'd get a 7 slash 3.5 out 7 out of 10 slash 3.5 out of 5. Okay, then Sunbomb, oh come on, stream, what are you doing? And Sunbomb, a black metal project featuring Michael Sweet of vocalist and rhythm guitarist for Stryper, and Tracy Guns, guitarist of Tracy Guns, LA Guns, and Brides of Destruction. and co-lead guitarist of Contraband. Weird, Tracy Guns was in 2 failed supergroups. Sunbomb is a weird black metal and doom metal inspired supergroup, which is very out of character for both Tracy and Michael. And yeah, it's Christian metal, because what would you expect from anything with Michael's sweet on vocals? But it's pretty good, and like there's some really good stuff like Better End, which I think was the single, Evil and Divine, World Gone Wrong, No Tomorrow, and Take Me Away. There's some really good stuff on here. A doom and black metal inspired supergroup with these two, especially with Michael. You don't think it'd be great, but yeah, really good. This is one I was really anticipating, and yeah, it lived up to the hype. I'm considering ranking this one down a bit. Number 11, after Evil and Divine by Sunbomb, number 11 is Robin McAuley, Standing on the Edge. Robin McAuley is just one of my favorite vocalists of all time, and this is his second solo album, first in 1999, released by Frontiers, and it's pretty good. Some good stuff like Supposed to Do Now, Say Goodbye. Late December is a beautiful ballad. Good rockers like Standing on the Edge, That Will Be Done. Really like Runaway and Like a Ghost. That one came out a little later in the year than I would have liked, because my interest in my interest in a lot of the obscure melodic rock was kind of dwindling at that point, because I was really I was really starting to try and get into more overseas kind of stuff. At the time I was really trying to get into more overseas heavy metal. So they announced this album way too early. I was so hyped for it. Then when it came out, I wasn't even that too interested in it. Still really good though. I enjoyed it. 7 out of 10, 3.5 out of 10. Okay, number 10 is Welcome to America by Prince, posthumous album. Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. So, Welcome to America was good. I enjoyed it a lot. Prince, first posthumous album by Prince. They've done other posthumous releases, such as a 1999 Super Deluxe Edition, Sign of the Times Super Deluxe Edition. But this is the first full-on studio album that they've released posthumously that was like previously unreleased. Because and this is interesting, because this could mean like we'll get other posthumous Prince releases, such as this is from like a very kind of this very kind of so period in Prince's career. Welcome to America is recorded in 2010, at least 11 years later. But think about this: we could get albums that Prince was notorious for recording and then scrapping albums. Like we could get the original 1989 version of Raven to the Joy Fantastic. We could get The Dawn, even. Oh, man. Now, The Dawn would be wishing for too much. That would have been like his magnum opus. He never ended up releasing it. He worked on it for so long, too. Overall, Welcome to America, pretty good. I really liked 1,000 Light Years from Here. Same Page Different Book was good. Hot Summer felt kind of dry, a bit of dry and stale. Running Game, some of the Slave Master was pretty fun and nice. Really, again, my favorite songs were Born to Die and Stand Up and Be. My favorite songs are Born to Die, 1,000 Light Years from Here, and Yes. Same Page Different Book was also really good. Stand Up and Be Strong was kind of mediocre. I actually saw like an interview where this guy used to be a friend of Prince's and a bit of a manager of sorts, was saying like, before it was an autobiographer that was saying like, oh, don't you know this is just made because bills need to be paid by his estate. And don't you notice Prince never played any of these songs live, but you can actually find live footage of Prince performing the title song live in 2011. So I'm like, so dude, you know, and there's other known instances of him playing some of these songs live, and he even reworked "When She Comes" and "A Thousand Light Years from Here" to be on another album of his, Hit and Run Phase 2. You know, I'm just saying, why would you act? Why are you acting like? Why are you acting like Prince just didn't play any of these live when there's no instance of him doing that? And he's even reworked some of these for use on later albums, so clearly he wasn't ashamed of any of these songs. And like the thought of Prince with letting an outside guy produce, dude, Prince has let outside people produce before. He was just a bit of a worker. This is a close companion of his, Morris Hayes, from the New Power generation, and it makes to, yeah. If anyone would produce a Prince album, I think Morris Hayes would be a. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd pick someone like Morris Hayes. You know, this is a cool bit of this whole album is a cool bit of neo soul. I mean, again, 7 out of 10, 3.5 out of 5, pretty good. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Even that one Prince biographer was trying to say this is a entirely greed-ridden thing. Like, even if they're releasing, I'm just like, even if so, I mean, that isn't the whole point of it. Not releasing an album to make money. And the fans they're giving the fans what they want. Fans have been trying to bootleg this album ever since the tour for it. Okay, so they're just giving the fans what they want. Filling a demand, there's a demand, and not a big demand, but there's a demand. And even some people who didn't even know this album's existence beforehand will buy it now that it's finally getting an official release. So there's a demand, make supply for it. Okay, number 9. We're starting to go from the 7s to the full-on 7.5s to 8s. Too Mean to Die, except this was the first release this year. I'm recalling this was the first release this year I listened to. Hold on a sec. Okay, so thought I saw a spider. Anyways, album's real big, just traditional heavy metal. You want to listen to awesome heavy metal as you want to listen to just awesome, straightforward heavy metal, except just delivers. Not as good as their previous albums, especially because they lost, especially because founding member and bassist Peter Baltz left in I think 2018. And without his writing contributions, the album, I think, did in fact suffer a bit. But some real good stuff in here. There's a lot slower, kind of eerie moments like The Undertaker. Just much more awesome melodic moments like Overnight Sensation, How Do We Sleep. Cool instrumentation just cool instrumentals like Samson and Delilah. It's lots of heavy and fast and aggressive moments like Zombie Apocalypse, Too Mean to Die, No One's Master. There's even a ballad The Best Is Yet to Come. Overall, it's just really solid. It's not an absolute beast of an album like the previous couple were, but this is definitely the weakest since the band got back together in 2010 with Mark Tornillo on vocals, but it's pretty friggin' good. I enjoy the heck out of it. So yeah, 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10. And there's number 8, V by Alcatraz. I was real worried when I found out Graham Bonnet was fired and replaced by Doogie White, fellow who was coincidentally both played with Michael Schenker and both were in the band Michael Schenker Fest. So while they had different stints in Michael Schenker's band, they both were together with him in Michael Schenker Fest. Kind of funny. Two were friends though, and Graham was like, "Yeah, if they're replacing, I'm not upset, especially because they replaced me with a good friend of mine, Doogie White, who's and I quote, damn fine performer," end quote. and that's what Graham called Doogie. And yeah, the album is just pretty good. It's it's pretty good. Really heavy. This is probably their heaviest album yet. I mean, like, I really liked Born Innocent, their album they did last year, and I was real worried that this album wouldn't be very good. I wasn't even too excited for it. I mean, especially because the lead single, Turn of the Wheel, was just kind of okay. I mean, really, it released like one of the most mediocre songs in the album as the single. But in reality, there's some really great stuff. Guardian Angel, Sword of Deliverance, Grace of God, Black Heart is my pick. It's the best song on here. House of Lies, Maybe Tomorrow. Some really good stuff in here. Did not expect Alcatraz to be that great with that rim bonnet, but this album kills. Really hoping Razorfist do an update to his Metal Mythos episode on Alcatraz once Born Innocent came out. Then V came out only 13, 14 months later. And I'm like, okay, well now then I see Graham Bonnet's already planning his own Alcatraz lineup to release a new album next year. Early on, I'm thinking, okay, well now, if we just keep getting annual Alcatraz releases, I don't know if Razor ever will get around to doing it because he likes to wait until a band finally releases their next album he likes to wait until a band finally releases their next album before he does an episode or an update. Number 7, 3.2 Third Impression, yet another 8. This album was just really good. I really liked 3, supergroup with Keith Emerson, Carl Palmer, and Robert Barry. And real awesome AOR-centric symphonic prog rock group. And then finding out they got back together and then Keith killed himself. Like, no, we had a 3 reunion and everything, and no. Then I found they did an album with Robert Barry finished the album himself. Okay, and I listened to it and it was really good. Still using the song co-written by Keith. Apparently Robert approached Keith's son about doing it, and Keith was like, no, these keyboard parts my dad wrote are too crazy for me to play. I can't do that. And he says maybe if I had shown him a song that used less crazy keyboards, he would have said yes. Robert performed the whole thing himself, and it was great. And he did another album performed entirely by him, using songs written by Keith Emerson and himself, co-written by Keith Emerson and him, and songs he had written himself. And really good album, solid. I heard it's going to be the last one. Fine note to end on. I think it was better than the last album. The rules have changed. The Third Impression was overall just really good. I think that this is a good note to go out on. Just loved it. Huh. Yeah, really good note to end on. Emerson, Lake and Palmer fans just don't. Emerson, Lake and Palmer fans just don't understand 3, and most Emerson, Lake and Palmer fans will never understand 3, and they never will. And that's just something, and that's just part of the reason why the groups are so hated. They're looking at it as another thread in the ELP legacy, when in reality, when in reality they're just too different. They're not made to sound anything like ELP. The whole 3 project was a labor of love, and it always has been. I'm getting kind of sad talking about it. Let's go on to the next one. An 8.5 out of 10. Number 6, Posh Pop by Toya. I had a really hard time make this my number 6 or my number 5. I think I should move. Okay, never mind. That's my number 5. Number 6, I've decided, just changed the last minute now. Halcyon Hymns by Downsbury Association. Downsbury Association was always supposed to mix like 80s new wave with Jeff Downs kind of mix of progressive rock and lots of dream pop aesthetics too. Really good. Overall, just really good. Loved that first album. Second album was pretty good. Third album was also really good. And this album, I don't know if I like it more than the third album or first album, but this was just an incredible release. Some real nice stuff like Your Heart Will Find the Way, Love Among the Ruins. I really loved She'll Be Riding Horses. Like, I think their first release, I preferred a bit like the more poppy kind of aspects of their first release, but man, Halcyon Hymns is just great. And not the dream pop I initially signed up for, but this is just some darn good stuff. And again, She'll Be Riding Horses, which is great. It gets an 8.5 out of 10, or in other words, a 4.25 out of, or a 4.25 out of 5. Number 5, Posh Pop by Toya. This was just, I was always looking forward to this one. But then when it came out, I was in Iowa, and I never got around to ordering this on Amazon because I didn't have any money at the time, and so I never got a CD release like I'd wanted, but this album was just great. Friggin' great. The lead single, Levitate, was just kind of, but it was the second single, Zoom Zoom, that really got me excited. And she released other great songs, the singles, Space Dance, Rhythm in My House, Summer of Love. But there's some truly great stuff she didn't release the singles. The Bride Will Return, Barefoot on Mars. I mean, this album was just amazing. It's real, like, it's art. It's kind of like progressive pop, but also just kind of fun, kind of art pop and pop rock. It's really just good stuff. Toya is just doing an amazing job here. Yeah, this is a 9 out of 10. Okay, number 4, Sermons of the Sinner by KK's Priest. Basically a band made up of former members of Judas Priest and KK and some people KK Downing had picked out to play in the band. And yeah, it's really good, this debut from them. Ripper Owens just kills it as usual. And this overall solid album. Sounds like Judas Priest, but it sounds a lot like Judas Priest, but it's not exactly Judas Priest, and they take advantage of that. They didn't call it KK Judas Priest. They called it KK's Priest because if they had used the Judas Priest name, which KK had every right to do so, then they would have been typecast as a Judas Priest sound-alike, which, yeah, they basically are, but they would have been typecast. And just calling it KK's Priest gives them room to experiment a bit. We have some really heavy and fast rocking stuff like Hellfire Thunderbolt, Sermons of the Sinner, Sacerdote Diablo, Hail for the Priest, but we got some good slower stuff too, like Wild and Free, Return of the Sentinel. Return of the Sentinel is a sequel to the what was it? The song off of Defenders of the Faith. Which was called The Sentinel. If KK Downing's goal was really just to prove that, hey, you shouldn't have chose greed over me. You should have let me stay. You should have paid me equal share, or let me come back into the band for the 40th anniversary. Then yeah, he just shows that losing him was really the biggest mistake in the entire career of Judas Priest. Teaming up with former Priest vocalist Ripper Owens, who was also treated unfairly in the band was just really, they really gone to show that these two really made up a lot of what made Priest great at some point, and just kill it here. Number 3, Showdown by Shoya. Oh, I forgot, yeah. Sermons of the Sinners, a 9 out of 10. Number 3, Showdown by Shoya. This was released by one of my favorite Japanese metal groups, Shoya, an all-female, which is an all-female group, and yeah, just really cool, really hard rocking album. And they're just doing a fantastic job here. Really love, oh man, just the lead single, Eye to Eye, got me kind of hyped. Then I just kind of decided, like, I just need to stop being hyped for this album, or it'll take forever for it to come. And so that's exactly what I did. I just decided I'm going to stop being hyped for the album and just wait for it to come out. And when it finally did come out, I was just, oh man, it surpassed expectations. Also, this is their first album to get a release in America. This album is now available for purchase in America without having to pay crazy import prices if you buy it online like Amazon. So that's really cool. Also, their first album with the original lineup recorded entirely in English. They hadn't done something like that since they did that one album with Stephanie Borges. And yeah, just really awesome. The album just kills, okay? Well, I don't know what else I should say about it. Like, I particularly, I think, my biggest issue is that Miki Captain Nakamura was not given enough moments to shine here. But she absolutely dominates some tracks like Never, which is my favorite. My second favorite song was Kiss in the Riot. And Tokyo I Scream was really good. And Woman is considered who has held the title of Queen of Heavy Metal for some time now. Doro Pesh of Warlock, singer for Warlock. She's got a guest appearance here on the song Heavy Metal Femininity, and it's a pretty good song. I don't know. It was one of the, I don't know, Heavy Metal Femininity didn't stick out to me as a particularly awesome song like Never or Kiss in the Riot. Still, album was just terrific. Just truly fantastic. 9.5 out of 10. Okay, number 2 was Immortal by the Michael Schenker Group. This is the first album by the Michael Schenker Group since 2008. Yeah, album's just great. It's Michael decided to stop using other bands like a Michael Schenker Fest and Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock, and just return to the Michael Schenker Group, kind of using the Michael Schenker Group name. And to help do like a bit of a back to basics kind of awesome album. And he asked a few guest pieces. Like some of his Temple of Rock people, like Bodo Shop, who was formerly in the Macaulay Schenker Group, which is part of the reason why Michael brought him back, because Schenker Fest was supposed to be like a collaboration between him and lots of his great people from past lineups of the Michael Schenker Group, Temple of Rock, and Macaulay Schenker Group. And drummer Ted Mackin had died, so we got Macaulay Schenker Group drummer Bodo Shop back. He plays drums on here. He's pretty good. He had gotten Simon Phillips, who was a session musician for the on the group's first album, briefly joined in 2008. Plays drums on here and does a good job. Bass is played by and keyboards are played by Steve Mann. Also, and another guest keyboardist is on here too, doing a great job. Let's say, Bodo Shop played drums on what tracks did he play on? Bodo played on After the Rain, Devil's Daughter, Cell of Darkness. Pretty good. Simon Phillips played on one of my favorite songs on the album, Don't Die on Me Now. Okay, it doesn't say who played bass in here in this list of credits. Barry Sparks. Okay, well, that's pretty unspectacular. I guess, what's his name left? Left the band after Schenkerfest. Has got Michael was introduced to the new Michael Schenker Group vocalist out on this album. Ronnie Romero does a good job, and Michael has a variety of guest singers playing on the 3 tracks. Sing on the 3 tracks. Ronnie doesn't. Drill to Kill, and Devil's Daughter features Ralph Sheepers of Gamma Ray. After the Rain and Queen of Thorns and Roses feature producer Michael Voss, who's produced all of Michael's albums since 2010. Michael Voss is most famous for guitarist and co-lead vocalist of the UK-based hard rock band Silver, Casanova, Demon Drive, Mad Max, Wolfpack spelled with 2 Ks. You know, he really sounds better here than he did on that first Temple Rock album, and hearing him here made me realize I was a little too hard on his vocals when he did do vocals in that first Temple Rock album. Michael Voss just does a great job here. And Joe Turner, one of my all-time favorite vocalists, does vocals on Don't Die on Me Now and Sangre a Morte, my 2 favorite songs on the album. And In Search of the Peace of Mind features Doogie White and Robin McAuley, Doogie White of Temple of Rock and Robin McAuley of McAuley Schenker Group, both of Michael Schenker Fest, on doing backing vocals here, and Gary Barden of the original Michael Schenker Group vocalist, and also of Michael Schenker Fest, on doing co-lead vocals here with Ronnie Romero. And it's really good. All that's on this last track, In Search of the Peace of Mind. Really good track. The best song on here. It's a cover of the first song Michael ever wrote. He wrote it apparently at 16 and on his kitchen, and it was on the first Scorpions album. This version's better, if you ask me. I'm rambling, aren't I? This whole video has been taken up mostly with my list here. Anyways, though, yeah, album's really good. Ronnie Romero does a good job on his 3 songs: Come On Over, Sail the Darkness, and Night of the Dead. My favorite songs were Don't Die on Me Now, Sangre a Morte, and Queen of Thorns and Roses is my favorites. That was my second most hyped album of 2021, by the way. My most hyped album in 2021. Oh wait, Immortals 10 out of 10. My most hyped album in 2021 was Helloween, which is the self-titled release by the band Helloween, featuring the new Pumpkins United lineup, which features everybody from the previous lineup: Andy Darris on vocals, Michael Wakehath and Sasha Gerster on guitar, Marcus Grosskopf on bass, and Donnie Lobo on drums. In addition to Michael Kiesk on lead vocals, sharing lead vocal duties with Andy Darris, and Kai Hansen on guitar, and occasional lead vocals in some parts of the songs. Both Michael and Kai Hansen famous for their work in the Keeper era lineup, and both ceased to be in the band once Andy Darris joined. Just really good. Just terrific. Favorite songs were just listen to it yourself. It's just the ideal power metal album. Everything about power metal is just all brought together in one track. The best favorite songs were Out for the Glory, Rise Without Chains, Robot King, and Skyfall. Just a really good album. That's my end of year list. I spent way more time talking about that than I wanted to, but once you talk about music, I'll ramble on. You know, Benjamin Franklin once said, "A man who rambles takes up another person's time is a thief." And I'm going to let you all know that if that is the case, I am a very big thief. I've stolen lots of stuff. I've stolen lots of your time then, and now you all put me to death for that. I trust you all won't because none of you are watching this. But, okay, so another thing I want to talk about was, they ported Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic to Switch. Been playing that a lot lately. That was really awesome. Yeah, I decided to, instead of going over to my brother's on the weekend like I usually do, I've decided to just stay home and play it. Also, I decided I wanted to, but I didn't think I was going to until I just got huge cold, below freezing temperature over here happened on Friday night, and it just really made my joints all sore. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to go this weekend. And my brother's like, okay, I'll just go with it. And my middle brother's like, okay, I'll go to the oldest brother's place without you. And so, anyways, a lot of fun. I'm not saying I don't have a good time. I do. It's just they're oftentimes doing stuff that doesn't involve me or that I'm not interested in or don't care about. You know, I'm really just a third wheel. You know, that's the job of the youngest brother, though, to act as the third wheel. My. Oh, not to say we don't all do bonding kind of stuff together. Usually I'm just there, and we're all there. It's just I'm sitting on the beanbag in the corner, listening to a band, downloading stuff, listening to music, watching YouTube, whatever in the corner, the beanbag, my headphones on, with and nobody really saying a word to me except like the occasional question that I don't really care enough to give a proper answer to. We've had good conversation here before though. When we were there, we talked about the 1 hour photo film franchise idea we came up with. What I was talking about, my dad recommended the Robin Williams movie 1 hour photo, and saying like Robin Williams gives a real creepy performance in that movie, and it's really good, and that I should watch it, and I probably should. Then I'm talking about that. Our brother said, "Have you seen the sequel, 2 hour photo?" And then my brother said, that's the critics. My brother, middle brother, responded with, "That's the critics' favorite." Alex responded with, "That's the critics' favorite. My favorite is a 3 hour photo." And then I said, "No, I'm a bit of a 4 hour photo kind of guy myself." And my oldest brother said, "You only prefer that because your favorite number is 4." And I said, "So what?" And I said, "So what?" They couldn't even get him back. They couldn't even get Robin Williams back for 1 hour. They couldn't even get Robin Williams back for 5 hour photo. And then Alex goes, "Yeah, but they got him back for 1 hour photo 2," which they called it 1 hour photo 2 to give it a greater connection to the original and establish Robin Williams is back. And we all know 7 hour photo was a straight to video sequel where most of the budget went to getting Robin Williams back. And most of the budget went to getting Robin Williams back, and most of the budget went to getting Robin Williams back for a 4 hour photo. And yeah, there's no 6 hour photo. It's 5 hour photo, 1 hour photo 2, and then 7 hour photo. They even go into 8 hour photo, which is about getting the proper amount which is about getting that doctor recommended amount of sleep in for the photo. And then we get to after that we get into 9 hour photo. And just when you think you've had enough, we all end on 1 hour photo 3, the final chapter. Which they made 1 hour photo 2 in a way where it's like, you don't have to watch the sequels, but you don't have to watch 1 hour photo 2, 3, or 4, but it really helps if you do. And 1 hour photo and 3, the final chapter, the 10th installment in the series, they really wanted to tie it all together because Robin Williams only agreed to come back to 1 Hour Photo 3, the final chapter, if it would be the last one. And the movie was pretty good, you know, like the 1 Hour Photo film franchise is a franchise that didn't need to happen, but it did. And, you know, I think they made the best of what they could with it. Even if the sequels after a 1 Hour Photo 2 really started getting low budget. Ooh. So I know this might seem a little sudden, but just going back to when I listened to except Too Mean to Die, and what was it? Michael Schenker Immortal. I don't know if they came out on the same day, but it was like a Friday. They either came out on a Friday or a Saturday, and I got them on a Saturday in early January. My dad was coming up to do something with the grandparents. He just wanted to see us for a bit, take us out to this breakfast place around here called Jimmy's Egg. It's really good. Then my stepmom decided, like, hey, baby, why don't you go to take the kids to the spa? And okay. So we all went to a spa, not a spa, salon. And we all got pedicures. And but my nails were gnarly that day, so my dad's like, get my youngest a manicure too. So and they gave me, and I was listening to that whole Michael Schenker album. I listened to that Michael Schenker. I was relaxing, Asian dude, rubbing my feet and everything. All the while I'm listening to what was it? Beware the devil's daughter as she comes into town. And and then I'm getting like jets and thing in the massage chair while I'm listening to the Sangre Morte. That's the place where you'll hang. And I had gotten the digital copy of the new Accept album the same day, so I listened to that right afterwards. It's a guy doing my nails all the while. I'm hearing, "How do we sleep at night with the world around us going to hell?" But I find it ironic because like 1 or 2 songs later, you have a song called "Not My Problem." It's not my problem, not my problem. Oh, those anthemic backing vocals in the Accept songs just really help make the Accept sound. This was an awesome weekend. There's a Love's gas station near my house, and it's cool that I go there often, and I'm a regular there. But everybody knows me now. It's a little weird. It's like, oh, how's it going? How's it going, Eric? Oh, hi, Eric. And then everybody will say hi to me by calling my first name, and it's not like I gave them my name or something. It's just that's on my pizza orders from there. There's a Godfather's Pizza there attached, and that's all. That name is what's on all my pizza orders. All my orders are just like, go out to Eric. So everybody just knows, and the manager started calling on me by my name, and everybody just started doing. And as I kept ordering more pizza from there over time, and the manager kept calling me by my name every time I'd go in there. Everybody just started calling me Eric. It's a little weird, and there's some people who do. It's a little weird at first, but it's kind of nice now, just everyone being familiar with me. Except the odd occasion where there's an employee who doesn't know my name and doesn't call me Eric, and then it started to become weird when they don't know my name, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is kind of weird. I mean, these are the pros and cons of becoming a regular at such a place. I've been going there longer than a lot of the employees have even been working there. Like, I remember when the manager of the store was this older lady. I remember back in like 2018, 2019, it doesn't work there anymore. I have lots of good and bad memories to that love station there. I've been going there a lot. One time I walked in there. This is during the pandemic, sometime in April. I went in there. A bird flew in as I opened the door. Yeah, I don't know if anybody got fired over that or something, but shortly I stopped. I started going there less and less during the pandemic. Started going there a lot more, picking up my visits there during the fall, late summer. Started going back there regularly again, and I don't know. Like after that pandemic, I stopped seeing a lot of the people I used to always see there, and kind of got sad thinking about it because some of those guys would always compliment me whenever I'd walk. Some of those people would always compliment me whenever I walk in the store. Like one guy saw I was listening to Van Halen with my headphones on one day and started bragging to people I'd listened to Van Halen while I was in the store. He's like, "Oh, this kid listened to Van Halen," and when this one guy in line was like, "Dude, you do? Oh, that's so cool." And I'm like, okay, it was a little weird, but it's kind of nice. It's always nice. It's always nice to be complimented. Nowadays, I always have my phone out when I'm there because I gotta get my barcode, and then after that, I switch back to my music app so I can listen to my music. And I'm always listening to something. Nobody comments on it. Nobody comments on it. I'm not saying I hope they do. I'm just saying that like the one guy used to, and now it's just kind of the one guy used to. And I just have my phone on the counter. I'm getting my money and everything for every purchase I make there, and it's just kind of. And it just got me wondering. Do they ever wonder what I'm listening to? Like, do they ever just go like, "Man, I wonder what Eric's listening to in his headphones he's always got on." Because I've never entered that store in like the past year and a half. I've never entered that store without a pair of headphones on in my head. That's with flat zero exaggeration. Yeah, a lot of people really like to hate on 2020, but I had a lot of good memories of 2020. Memories like springtime. I had this box of Rainbow Sweet Tarts Ropes. I'd wake up real early and watch like Sugar Conroy Let's Plays while eating Sweet Tarts Ropes, specifically Phantom Hourglass and Kirby Triple Deluxe, and then I had and 2020 was also the year I started becoming conscious of new music releases and started really finding myself musically. Where it's like that's where I discovered like the GTR album, my favorite band Asia. That's when I got into Love Bites and Rainbow, the two bands that popped my hard rock and heavy metal cherry. It was really just that was really just a special year for me, pandemic or not. And I miss that. Oh, another good memory I have is playing Xenoblade Chronicles in my room at in 2020. Lots of great memories playing that game there. And all the while I'd be doing something else. And all the while I'd be listening to music, like I'd be listening to Genesis, or I'd be watching Down the Rabbit Hole video. I was just really into Down the Rabbit Hole videos in like July and August of 2020. It was really awesome. Just lots of great memories with that. You know, I, so I always like envision like how could I make these streams funnier? But in reality, I'm not a particularly funny guy. And in fact, I'm much more sentimental than I let on. And sometimes you gotta accept sometimes you just gotta accept you're not funny. It's like, I've grown up and I realized I'm not funny. I'm just a guy whose so defining trait is his headphones, or the damn headphones people have grown to call them. And these streams aren't as funny as I always hope they are. They never turn out funny. When you're being a kid is when you relate to Michael Jackson lyrics. Growing up is when you realize you relate to Janet Jackson's lyrics more, particularly Rhythm Nation 1814. And that's just one of the greatest albums I've ever heard. Like, I have good memories of 2021, but man, summer 2017 to say summer 2017 to summer 2019 and summer 2020 and spring to summer 2020 were just like, those are, in my opinion, those are the peaks of my life. I honestly don't think I'll have any better memories than the memories I have in those periods of time. Just 100% serious. Just take it as it comes. I don't think it'll ever come as better as it did in those years. Man, this is kind of serious. I'm really in a dour mood now. I've gotten really serious and contemplative now. You know, in a way, since I'm in a serious contemplative mood, in a way, I think that doing this is kind of like a bit of a therapy for me. Because nobody watches these. Nobody watches these. Not famous enough or known enough people watch these. Nobody cares about these. And it's just something I do. Turn on the camera. Put up a random Roger Dean photo on my computer, and just talk. Nobody cares about this. It's just something I do. I kind of, why does anyone do anything? Anyways, I regret to inform you all that I am going to have to cut this short here because it's late. I'm hungry. I want to eat something, and also, on top of that, I got to get to work animating the next episode of Three of a Perfect Pair. So, if you enjoyed this, good. I don't care if you leave a like or subscribe. I don't care. I don't give a crap if you hit the bell or not. Just do whatever. I gotta go. I'm gonna go eat some grub. So yeah.